so today's video is going to be a first impressions get ready with me on a bunch of different products, but the product we're going to be concentrating on is the Colourpop In The Limelight 9-pan pressed powder palette. I decided to pick this up like a week ago as my July palette that I wanted to get because, like I've been telling you guys the past 2 months, I've been sticking to only purchasing one palette per month. I also have been getting rid of quite a few palettes on Poshmark right now, so once I declutter a few palettes, I feel a little bit lighter to get and try a new one. So this was the one I decided to get for July. I also have the new Colourpop matte bronzer to use with you guys. I've actually used this once before, but I haven't used it on camera yet. I think I only used it yesterday for the first time. I also picked up one of the glosses from that collection. This is one of the like more pigmented versions of the So Glassy glosses because I have the more metallic one that I use all the time and I love this formula, so I really wanted to get one of these. And then I also got the other shade of the Winnie the Pooh highlighter in the shade 100 Acre Wood. I just thought this tone of gold was so pretty, and for some reason I just couldn't get it out of my mind, so I picked that up as well. And then I'm also just going to use a blush stick that I haven't used on camera with you guys from Colourpop, but that's not brand new, but I'll still use it for you guys. And then I also got two lipsticks from Sephora. I got one of the new Give by Gwen Stefani lipsticks, and I also got one of the new Rare Beauty lipsticks, the Kind Words Rouge, what is it called? Kind Words Matte Lipstick. So I will decide which one I want to use at the end. So we're just gonna put my hair back and start getting ready. I'm also wearing a new shirt today, so we got a bunch of newness going on. So I already primed my eyes with my Colourpop Eye Primer. I really like this primer. I don't know why everybody hates on it so much. I really like it. I mean, I think that a lot of people don't realize that you have to squeeze the tube in order to get the product out. Like, it doesn't always, like, apply right onto the doe foot, so I don't know, but I like it. I also had purchased a brand new Luxe Lip Oil in Dewdrop with this order that I showed the rest of the products, so I did get another one of these. This is, like, my fourth one. It's my favorite lip oil to use when I'm doing my makeup, and then, of course, I set my eyes with the Colourpop Pretty Fresh Powder. I don't have to rave about that anymore that I already have. So let's jump into this palette. I'm super excited. I've actually had this palette sitting on my desk for like 3 days. I have not been able to sit down and film a video using it for the first time, so I'm super excited to try it. So this is the In The Limelight palette. I don't know if you guys heard my dog barking. Just give me a second. Okay, so let's get into this palette. The reason why I haven't been able to use it is because I think I received it on like Thursday when I was working at the time. And then Friday, I think I worked as well. I think I worked during the day though. I can't remember what I did on Friday. I worked during the day and then I just went home after that. But I didn't have time to film with the palette because I was working 12 to 6 that day. And then Saturday, I actually went to the city to see Thor. We'll talk about that. And then Sunday, I worked 12 to 6, so I didn't have time to film with it. So I finally have time to use it today. So it does come with a plastic insert. And I love the design on top. It's just so cute. I love how summery it is. And I love like the whole palm tree vibe. It's just so cute. And then this is the 9-pan In The Limelight palette, so I'll just show you guys a close-up. Super excited to try this. I'll go more into like how many shades and everything are in it once I haul it. I'm just using the palette today. I don't think I'm gonna do an all green look today. I kind of want to use the shade Debut first in my crease, so I think I'm gonna use that first. So I'm just going to take that on one of my Colourpop brushes. It's kind of like a unique nudie pinky shade, so I'm excited to use it. So I'm just going to take that in my crease. I guess I got to pick that up a little bit more. And then I'm going to start buffing it out in my crease. I've heard really good things about this palette, so I hope it lives up to the hype, because I've just been seeing Morgan Turner absolutely rave about it. So I'm excited to see if it performs well, because as you guys know, I feel like my eyes are very dry today. That might not be the greatest to try out a new palette, but here we are. And I also feel like this brush is kind of not working that great for me today. I've been using this brush quite often though. All right, let's just build up the color some more. So when I actually put this on, it's kind of more of like a brownie nude. It's not exactly the pinky nude I was thinking it was, but it's okay. It's still a warm tone brown, which you guys know I love. I was just expecting it to be a bit more pinky toned, but it is a good base neutral to have in this palette. And that's mostly why I got this palette. I mean, yes, it is mostly a monochromatic green palette, and I probably could have used Almost Famous instead, but I wanted to use this one first, because I wanted to do like a subtle greenish look today, not anything too crazy. And that's why I picked up this palette, because I am so inspired by color this summer, but also I wanted like a good green palette that wasn't like super in your face green. And I feel like people that want to dip their toes into color, this might be a good option for you. But I also want to see if the formula is a little better than the All Amethyst palette. I do find that this shade takes quite a bit of building to get to show up, which is a little annoying, but it's okay. It's not like we don't have the time today. That's why I usually like to film my first impressions videos when I'm not working. So I am off today. I am working a couple more days this week, but at least I'm off today, because I need it to be off today. Okay, so, but today's Monday. Yesterday was so slow at work, so. Alright, again, this takes quite a bit of building, which I'm not a huge fan of. I feel like this took forever just to get some pigmentation out of it. But again, I feel like it might be the brush. Okay, so I think that looks pretty good though. I still feel like I need more on this side. Just give me a second. Okay, so now for the second shade, I really want to use the shade Miami, so I'm going to use that to define my crease area. So let's see if this one picks up a little better. And I'm going to use that to define. Oh yeah, that's cute. I like that. It's like a very cute wash of green. And that was exactly what I was going for. And it's actually pretty pigmented, which is rare for these kind of shades because it's more of like a pastel lime green. So I actually really like that. And it builds up really nicely over that color too. I do like that shade. I was a little bit nervous with that first shade because the All Amethyst palette was definitely the worst Colourpop palette I've tried. And I actually just sold it on my Poshmark. So that's officially the first Colourpop palette that I have officially decluttered. I don't think I've really decluttered any other palettes. There are like 2 or 3 that I want to sell or declutter eventually, but I'm surprised that I finally sold one because it's hard to sell Colourpop on Poshmark. I really like this shade. I can already tell with this formula in here, they are not as powdery as the All Amethyst palette at all. Like in the pan there's some kick up, but applying it to the eyes, I'm not experiencing any like powderiness like coming off the brush. With the All Amethyst one, it was like powder everywhere trying to blend it, and it would just blend away. So it wasn't a great time. So for some definition, I'm going to use the darkest shade in the palette, which is called Layout, and I'm going to use that on my outer corners. Hopefully this isn't like, oh, okay, we got to build that up a little more. You know what? That's actually a lot softer than I thought it was going to be. I was like, I hope it's not too dark, but it's a really pretty, like, olivey gray, and it's a really good, like, complementary shade to go with the rest of the shades in this palette. What I really like about Colourpop's 9 pans is that if it's not a super monochromatic palette, or if it's like a different shade like this, they'll make it like the same tone color-wise. Like, this is like an olivey, dark, grayish brown, which is a really good shade to go with the rest of the colors. And like, even in the All Amethyst palette, they had some really pretty purple tones, but they won't just make like the colors that, like, they won't just make the green shades green. They'll make all of the shades, like, if they're more neutral or not, like, lean towards more that color that the palette is, like, themed on. Like, this is a lime green palette, so the darker shade, it's going to be, like, a tone of green. It's not going to be a lime green, but it's going to be, like, an olive green. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I like the layout and the way that they do their palettes sometimes, and I love that this shade is called Layout. I don't know if I said that. First I used Debut, then I used Miami, and then I used a Layout. I don't know if I said any of the names, so I'm sorry about that. So now I'm just going to deepen up the outer corners, and I do really like this shade with this. I'm actually really liking that this is a more subtle green look, because that's what I was going for, and I actually didn't think I was going to get that, because I had kind of lower expectations for this palette, because I thought it wasn't going to blend as good as I felt like it was going to be similar to the All Amethyst palette, because I actually have not picked up too many of the bigger 9 pan palettes besides the All Amethyst and the Tinkerbell palette, and I'm not in love with the Tinkerbell palette. I feel like that this is going to give me what the Tinkerbell palette kind of lacked. Because honestly, if these mattes were in the Tinkerbell palette, they would have been like so on theme with that. But that's neither here nor there. This is the Limelight palette, and I think they nailed the color story. So now I'm just going to put on some glitter glue, and then we'll do the lid. Okay, so for the lid shade, there are some really pretty colors in here. I'm just keeping my eyes down because of the glitter glue. I want to try all 3 of these, but I think the one I'm going to use today is the center shade, because I was really drawn to that shade. So that one is called Booked. You know, like booking a vacation. I think that's so cute, and I'm going to use that one on my lid. Yeah, that's super pretty. That's just a really pretty, super intense lime green, and I really like that. I'm already liking the shimmers better in this palette. They're more metallic. They stick to the lid better. They don't feel dry. They feel like the typical metallic formula that I'm used to with Colourpop. With the All Amethyst palette, it was like so hard to apply the shimmers, and when they were on the lid, they just didn't look that great. Like, look at this. Look how pretty this is. That's really pretty. Okay, Morgan, you know what you were talking about, girl. I really like it. And like I've said, I've been really into, like, oh, that is so pretty. Look how metallic that is. Wow, this is the first non-collab palette from Colourpop that I've been impressed by this year. Because originally I wasn't going to get this palette. And then I saw Morgan Turner, like I said, rave about it. I think also Makeup Just for Fun said that she really liked it. And Angelica Niqua said that this palette was really good too. The other one I'm kind of tempted by is the Palm Springs one. And that collection is so pretty. But I might make that my August palette, because there is kind of another palette I'm interested in trying. Not from Colourpop, because actually I haven't picked up a non-Colourpop palette since the end of April, I think. I haven't tried any new brands. I've only been picking up Colourpop palettes the past 3 months. I got the Star Wars palette in May, the Lilac You a Lot in June, and then this one in July. So I'm kind of ready to try a new, not a new brand, but I'm kind of wanting to get into repurchasing from brands that I really love, like Nomad, Sigma, and Beauty Bakery. I mean, not Beauty Bakery, Beauty Bay. There are some palettes I'm interested in, but we will see. But I do want the new Nomad Cosmetics palette. I think that's gorgeous. Oh my god, it's just a fly. I thought it was like a little spider, but it's just a fly. Can it get off? That scared the crap out of me. But that is a really pretty shade. Okay, Colourpop. Alright, I'm going to finish doing my eyes. I'm just going to apply Hear Me Out to my, actually Blanc Type by MAC from to my brow bone, and then we'll do the face. Okay, so I just cleaned up the eyeshadow a little bit, so now we're going to go into the face, and I'm going to use the Fourth Ray Beauty Do It Hydrating Hyaluronic Mist. I've been loving this. It's so hydrating. I love it. Just such a refreshing product for the summertime. And then for primer, I think I'm going to use the e.l.f. Dew Primer. I've been really loving this one too. It smells like watermelons and I love it. So we're going to use this today. Oh, God almighty. I don't know why that just came off with the cap. I'm just going to take that. Oh, it smells so good. I love that it smells like watermelons. It's just so summery to me. I love it. So now for the face. My face got a little bit red here. I don't know why. I don't know if it was from the city, like maybe getting sunburn or something. Or from like when I removed my makeup on Sunday, because I mean not Sunday, actually I got it yesterday. I didn't notice it when I got back from the city, so I don't know why it got red last night actually. But I'm just going to use a really lightweight foundation. So I'm just going to use the Tarte C Hydroflex foundation. I am on a no-buy for foundations and concealers for the past, like, I think 3 months. I haven't picked up a new complexion product since the Valentino one. It's just because I've been wanting to work through some foundations and tinted moisturizers in my collection. I actually worked through one tinted moisturizer and one like foundation. I worked through the Colourpop tinted moisturizer finally. That's completely done. And then I'm almost done with this technically, but I forgot to grab my sponge. Give me a second. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and blend it out. I always try to see, like, what the heck is the difference between this one and the Rainforest of the Sea foundation, and I don't really know, but they both are super light, great foundations for the summertime. I never feel like this foundation ever feels heavy, and I've raved about the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea line and how good the products are for a while. They're just so good. So anyway... So I'm not sure why my skin got red. I mean, I did have to get the Burt's Bees cleansing oil a couple weeks back because they've been out of the Fourth Ray Beauty one on Colourpop for like, I think like a month now. I don't know why they haven't restocked it yet. They haven't restocked a lot of stuff on Colourpop, like, I don't know about you guys, but it's a little bit ridiculous that they never restocked the Star Wars collection that they came out with in May, and the Winnie the Pooh collection that they came out with like at the end of April. So they never restocked the Honey Pot lip mask and lip scrub after they sold out, and those sold out in like 5 minutes. They did restock the palette a week or two ago. But they have not restocked the anything else in the collection, which is just weird. They have had everything else like available for a while because certain things sold out and certain things didn't. Like, that's why I was able to get the other highlighter. But I think they also restocked those too at some point. I can't remember. But anyway, the Star Wars collection, they have not restocked that eyeshadow palette since it came out. And they never said that it was a limited edition collection. Like, I feel like with that and the Winnie the Pooh collection, they kind of pulled like a hocus pocus on everybody, and they never restocked it. So, whatever. I mean, I bought it already, but I would like that lip mask, because honestly, I kind of want a new lip mask, because I'm almost at the bottom of the one that I got from the Powerpuff Girls collection. So, that one lasted me this long, like a good year. Or possibly longer. I can't remember if it came out last year, because I had COVID last March. So, and then I'm just going to do a little bit on my under eyes. I'm not going to do too much. I'm only going to do a little bit. Yeah, that's all I need. As I get it all over my finger. So the city was so much fun, but we ended up having to drive in because where we were taking, I'm using the e.l.f. hydrating concealer, by the way. The train that we were my train station, I didn't know that they were doing service maintenance on the line over the weekends. And I didn't double check until we got to the train station. So we ended up having to drive in because I was like, it's going to take almost 2 hours on my line if we decide to take the train. So it was just faster to drive. So I'm just going to do my concealer. And we went to go see Thor, and Thor was great, you guys. It was so funny. People are taking it like way too seriously. I kind of liked that that Thor was kind of a break from the multiverses. I mean, I do really like the multiverse concept. Some people are like not big fans of this whole phase from Marvel and the whole multiverse phase, because I think they're like in phase 4 right now. I kind of like that it was fun. It was so funny, and it wasn't really like all like it didn't take itself too seriously at all. It was just hilarious. So now I'm just gonna set my under eyes and everything, and then we'll come back to the eyes. Okay, so I just went ahead and set my under eyes, and I used the Maybelline Fit Me powder. I've been trying to whip out some other powders recently and use them more, because I was using the same powder for like 3 months with the Rare Beauty one, and I forgot how much I really love this one. I have it in the shade 05 Fair, so I used that today. And then for the rest of my face, I obviously used the Pretty Fresh powder. So, okay, let's go back into the eyes. And so far, I really like this palette a lot. Honestly, the shade, the metallic, has not really transferred that much at all. So, I definitely really like this palette. It's really pretty. Okay. So let's go back into the palette. I think I want to use the shade Star Power on my inner corners, because I think it's going to be a really pretty, like, light metallic on the inner corners. Should we use After Party on the lower lash line? I don't know if I want it to be that dark today, but let's go in with Star Power first. Hold on 1 second. Oh. And this looks like a really pretty, like, light white with a little bit of green to it. So it looks really pretty. Ooh, that is gorgeous. Alright, I already like this palette way more than the All Amethyst. These metallics are smooth and pigmented and apply really well. The shade Brilliant from the All Amethyst palette looked so dry on my inner corners. It was not like this smooth metallic formula. Like, look how pretty that is. So, I don't understand why that palette was just not the same quality as this. This palette's really good quality, so, yeah. And this actually applies better than some of my other metallics that I have. I just had some eye goo, sorry. So now I'm just going to, oh my god, the shade is so pretty. Yes. I really like that. That's such a pretty color. Y'all know I need it to be like really, really pigmented or I am not happy. But I just like it to be really, really metallic. That's really pretty. I like that a lot. Okay, I'm sold on this palette. I really like it. Honestly, I was not too in love with the Secret Admirer palette either. I'm just going to take the shade Miami, the same shade I used to define the crease, and that's the one I'm going to use in my lower lash line. That's super pretty too. Again, a very light wash of green. Very pretty. Okay, this palette performs so nicely. I'm really impressed. I was like, meh, it's probably not going to be that great. I'm like, it's a pastel green palette. How pigmented can these be? It's actually really nice. I didn't really want to get it too far underneath my lower lash line, but here we are. So yeah, Thor was great. Loved it. And then we went to 2 bars after that. We went to like a pub and then we went to like a tavern after that, and they were both great. Just the drinks were expensive, but it was definitely fun because I got drunk. But I waited a good hour or so before I drove, and then by the time we got back to the parking garage that we had, or that we parked my car at, I was already sober. So, yeah. Okay, that looks super pretty. Really, really like this palette. I'm very impressed, you guys. Okay, so now we're just gonna do eyeliner and mascara off camera, and then we'll finish, and then we'll try the rest of the new products. Okay, so I went ahead and did my mascara and just primed my lashes with my L'Oreal Voluminous Primer, and I also lined my waterline. I decided to use a white liner, and I think it made the eyeshadow look really pretty. So I used the NYX Slide On, Glide On, Stay On, and definitely a Turn On Waterproof Extreme Shine eyeliner. I don't know why it's such a long name, in the shade Pure White. I love this eyeliner. And I think it's better than Colourpop liners, TBH. And then for my mascara, I used the Colourpop Level Up mascara. You guys know how much I love that mascara. Okay, so now we're going to go into the bronzer, and we're going to use the Colourpop Matte Bronzer in the shade Alviva Beach. So we're just going to go ahead and use that. And this is still easier to open than the freaking Valentine's Day blushes from Colourpop. I still hate that packaging with a passion. So we're just going to go ahead and use this guy. I'm a little bit upset that this isn't the same sized packaging as the Pretty Fresh powder. I like that this is very, you know, compact. I don't know why they didn't make the powder in this size and make the bronzer in this size, because I feel like I would use up a powder more than a bronzer, but I just don't know why they made it this big. But this is a really pretty color. I didn't think that this color was going to be like as pretty as it was. I thought it was going to be too cool toned for me, but it's like kind of cool toned with a hint of warmth. So, and when I swatched this and used it, when I swatched it, it is super, super soft, not super powdery. It is super buttery smooth, like almost velvety. It feels super, super soft and very luxurious, honestly. And when I put it on my face, it blends out really beautifully. So I really like how it applies. It applies the same way that it swatches, very, very smoothly. And I was actually really impressed with it. Again, I didn't think I was going to love it this much, but like I said, Colourpop makes solid products when they're not coming out with a million different collections. This was actually a collection that was, I mean, the collection was a little bit random, honestly, And pretty much the look that I did is like what you could get from the palette that they released with this collection, which was the Gettin' Fresh palette, which was like a 30 pan palette that basically was like a lime green with pinks and neutrals. But basically, if you get the Limelight palette, you can basically dupe any shade that was in there. I really don't have an interest for their mega palettes. The only one I ever got was the, but do you see how good it blends out? It's super nice. Oh, I really like it. The only one I ever got was the So Jaded palette by Kathleen Lights, because that was the only one that was unique to me. Every other one that they came out with after that, you could easily get a 9 pan and get the same exact shades. But yeah, this is really nice. I highly recommend this bronzer. I think it's super nice. I was interested in the Soul Body one for so long, but I was also waiting to see if they would launch a new bronzer, and they finally did. And I think that this is great. I think it blends out really nicely. I haven't really heard any negative reviews about it. The only things that people have been saying is that the undertones are a little bit weird, but on the skin, it's a beautiful shade for my skin tone, so I really like it. Okay, so now for the blush, I'm going to use the Limoncello blush stick in the shade Cottage Life. This is from the Limoncello collection. I don't think I've used this on camera with you guys, and I think that this is a perfect shade for this look. It's like a peachy, almost peachy pink, but it's really not that pink. It's just such a beautiful shade of peach. And I'm going to use that on my cheeks today. I'm just going to take my MAC brush and apply it because I already put powder on. But this blush applies beautifully, like this formula applies beautifully over powder. Without powder, it really doesn't matter. You could also just slick it onto your face. You could blend it out with your fingers. Like, it doesn't really matter. The way that you apply it, it's still going to blend out beautifully. So I'm just going to use that. I feel like I still had a little bit of pigment of whatever blush I used last. I think it was the Milani cream blush that I used with this brush because I didn't wash it after that, but it's okay. It still is pretty much the shade that I wanted it to be. It's like a peachy color that leans a bit pinky, but it's not really pink. I don't know how to describe it. It's just such a pretty peachy color. And I just want to put still a little bit more on this side. Okay, that's better. That looks really pretty. Such a simple summer blush. It's been one of my go-tos for the summertime. It's just such a pretty color. Now I feel like I need more on this side. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, that's more so. Now it looks even. Super pretty color. Love this blush. I can't believe how long it took me to pick up this color, but I've just been slowly picking up things that I've been wanting in the past because they've been putting them on sale a lot, so I just would rather get it at $7 rather than like 12 bucks. Okay, so now we're going to go into the Winnie the Pooh highlighter. This is the shade 100 Acre Wood. And this is one of their Super Shock highlighters. And I think that this is going to be a really pretty shade for this look. Ooh, yes. I wasn't sure about this color for this, but I think it's going to be gorgeous. So, y'all know how much I love a gold highlighter. I think I might just use my fingers for this. But it's actually applying really beautifully with a brush. But I'll probably re-intensify it with my fingers. I feel like I have to pee again already. I already went like a half hour ago. I swear, once I start drinking water, because I have coffee in the morning and then I just drink water nonstop until I go out again, and I usually have 2 glasses of water before I go anywhere. I always make sure I drink water. Obviously, it's super important for you to drink water every day. But after I finish the 2 glasses of water, I have to pee like so much. Sorry if this is TMI, but you know, it's natural, okay? some people, like, talk about UTIs on freaking YouTube, like, all the details. Like, I actually did have one a couple months ago, but I'm not going to tell you everything that happened. They suck. I don't recommend them. Keep your stuff clean, you know? Like, I don't know what else to tell you, but yeah. It was terrible. It was awful. So I think that looks super duper pretty. Ooh, that's gorgeous. I really love that. I mean, I love Colourpop Super Shock formula. Okay, we're just gonna finish up we're just gonna set the face and do the brows, and then we will jump into the new lip product. All right, so now let's go in with the lips. So I'm gonna open both of them and see which color I want to use. I think I'm gonna use the Rare Beauty one today, just because it's a little bit more peachy toned for what I want to go for. So let's see. And then I'll show you guys the color. Yeah, I think that's the color I want to use, because the Gwen Stefani one is a little bit more nudie. It's still really pretty, but it's kind of like a darker color. Yeah, I want to use the Rare Beauty one. So I got these because I didn't really pay for these because your girl's broke right now. But I did decide to take back the Melt Cosmetics Mariposa palette, the blush palette, and they let me get a store credit for it, even though it was like almost 3 months since I had gotten it. But they know that I'm rouge there, and they know how much money I spend there. Like, I hate when people say that at my store, but usually, I also told her, like, I rarely return stuff here, and she said, are you going to buy other stuff? And I said, yes, so she gave me the store credit for it, so that was really nice of her. So I decided to get these two lipsticks with the store credit, excuse me. So I got the Rare Beauty Kind Words matte lipstick in the shade Creative, and I was really intrigued on trying her lipsticks, and I really like the packaging. I like that it comes out like this, and I just think it's a really nice component. Very, very nice. Doesn't feel cheap at all, and this is what the shade looks like. So I'm just going to apply it. Oh yeah, that's super pretty. Doesn't really have any scent to it. It just smells like lipstick. And I really like the liquid lipstick that she has available. And I also really like the lip balm, like the tinted lip balm or whatever, liquid lip balm. So I really wanted to try one of the lipsticks. And that's a really pretty shade too. Y'all know I love these kind of colors. The scent of this, I mean, it's not really scented, but the scent reminds me of like another brand, and I can't remember which one. It kind of smells a bit Vaseline-y too, but that's okay. I love Vaseline too. It cures everything. I actually used Vaseline on the redness, and it helped, like, not, for it to be not as irritated, because it was kind of, like, burning a little bit last night. Not, like, stinging, but just, like, felt red, and again, it felt kind of like a sunburn sensation. Okay, I'm just going to finish applying this off camera. Okay, so I really like how this looks. I really like the shade. It does feel slightly drying. So let's see how it feels after I put a gloss on top. That might just be because I didn't dry or wipe off the lip oil completely, but that shouldn't really affect that. It still feels very comfortable. It just feels like a little tacky around the inside, but it feels very comfortable on the lips. So now for the gloss, I'm going to use the Colourpop So Glassy gloss in the shade Solana. And this is one of the, like, nudish colors, and I think that this is going to be a really pretty shade to put on top. And I'm just going to use that. Oh yeah. And it definitely helps the dryness. Look at how glossy that is. I love this formula. Like I've said, I'm not really a huge fan of Colourpop's glosses, but this So Glassy formula is my favorite. That's like the perfect shade to go with this lipstick. Alright, it definitely feels less drying with the lippy, but I still feel like, I mean with the gloss, but I still feel a slight tackiness to the lipstick. And it's still comfortable. Alright, that's it, you guys. Okay, you guys, so this is the finished look. I am really loving how everything turned out. So here are the eyes. Very, very pretty. The cheeks and the lips. I think everything turned out really pretty. I really like this palette, you guys. I think that these shadows performed really nicely, and like honestly, I think that this is the best formula I've tried from Colourpop this year besides the Winnie the Pooh palette. I think that this formula is even better than the one that was in the Star Wars palette, because I feel like that these just perform so easily. Again, I was a little bit hesitant with the first shade that I used, but after I had it on for a little while, I think that now it's more pigmented in the crease, and I also just really like how the mattes performed all together, and the shimmers are just beautiful in this palette. So yeah, I'm really excited to use it more. I think that this performed really beautifully. So I think that this is going to be one of my go-to summer palettes. I'm really excited to use it more. The bronzer, again, I already raved about this before, but I think that this is great. I think that it's super buttery smooth. Again, I really like the shade for my skin tone, and I think that it just performs like a high-end bronzer. I think it's super smooth. This is even smoother than some of my higher end bronzers, like even my Gucci bronzer. This is super soft. So, and it's even softer than like the packaging that it dupes, which is the Marc Jacobs one. I'm super impressed with this bronzer. I really, really like it. I really, really like it. I think they released some good high quality products recently because they were kind of falling off for a while. And then of course I love the blush stick. You guys have seen me talk about this before, but I really love how this blush looks with this. I think it looks so pretty with this look. And of course the Super Shock, where is it? The Super Shock highlighter. You guys know how much I love the Super Shocks, and I think that this is such a beautiful metallic gold. Oh, it shines so intensely in person. It's super pretty. The only thing I'm not super crazy about is this lipstick. It feels a little bit tacky and a little heavy on the lips. But after I put the gloss on, I feel like it looks really nice. But I'm not going to wear a gloss every single time I wear the lipstick. So I will test it out again and come back and tell you guys my thoughts. I always like test out everything pretty thoroughly before I do a favorites video or before I do a haul video, because I like sharing my thoughts in those types of videos for you guys. And then as far as the gloss goes, I love it. This is definitely my favorite lip gloss formula Colourpop has ever done. I think that the So Glassy glosses are amazing. They feel so light on the lips, but they're also super glossy. I just think it looks beautiful, and it literally looks like a lip gloss, like MAC's lip glasses, but like a fraction of the price. So yeah, I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Follow me on my Instagram at CBW819, and check out my Poshmark, you guys. I've been selling quite a few things on my Poshmark lately. So if you guys want to check out my Poshmark and get a good price, and we can also negotiate a price, I'm really not that picky. Then check out my Poshmark at the same handle, which is CPW819. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Bye. And let me know if you guys would ever try any of these products that I used. What did you think? Let me know. But if you guys were interested in any of these products, they do definitely have my stamp of approval. I think everything I tried was beautiful today. So yeah, bye.